As Christmas approaches, just over a week away, we are approaching 30,000 YouTube subscribers. So thanks to the 29,931 of you who have subscribed to the channel. 69, that's over way, Sam. Bonk to Sam for putting that on screen. I know that was for a reason, but be one of the 69 people that gets us past the finish line to 30,000 subscribers. It's youtube.com/Michigan TV. And coming up on today's show, we're going to talk about 2024 Michigan football, right? After they win the national championship, January 8th, Houston or bust. Who's coming, who's going, who's staying, where will this program be in 2024 and beyond? And we're going to all do it in the Performance Package Collection from Rhone, RHONE.com/chatsports, 20% off and free shipping. I'm wearing the Commuter Collection from Rhone, performance-driven clothing. Let's get the show rolling. It's the Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports, coming up right now. And the first question coming in from Zach Seuss, 1250. Who are the dark horse heroes for the Alabama game? Players that need to have an impact that nobody is talking about. Good question. I've got three, but I want to kind of take the temperature of the room right now. Let me know what you guys are thinking in this game, right? Neither of these guys are going to be unsung heroes, right? They are sung heroes for sure. Who will have more passing yards in this Rose Bowl matchup? Alabama's Jalen Milroe. If you think it's him, go down and type JM. I'll pin this comment right below today's video, so just reply to the pinned comment. JM for Jalen Milroe. Also JM is JJ McCarthy. We'll go with a JJ. Type JJ for JJ McCarthy. Let me know, and I'll let you guys know my potential breakout candidates. First one up for me, it's Semaj Morgan, right? The kid who's kind of just hilarious when he gets on the mic, a little Instagram, a little post-game interview, thing like that. He's really emerged over the past few weeks, right? Had a really nice touchdown pass in the fourth game of the year against Rutgers. Took a little downturn from there, but has come up big. The punt return against Iowa down inside the 5-yard line or so. Has had multiple touchdown passes, multiple runs this stretch the last 4 or 5 weeks. I think actually he's been a real catalyst to the Michigan offense. Not necessarily going downfield like the touchdown pass against Rutgers, but just making it happen, kind of like Giles Jackson did for a little while for this program. Who's the other guy who went to transfer to Northwestern? I forget, but you guys know the type. The little just scat back type wide receiver for Michigan that we've really used well under Jim Harbaugh, catching screen passes, taking reverses, and now, since the Big Ten championship game, adding the punt return duties to his repertoire. Keep an eye out for Semaj Morgan, in my opinion, the best offensive freshman in all of the Big Ten, although he didn't win Big Ten Freshman of the Year. Next one up, unsung heroes, right? And all these guys are going to be names we know, but they're all backups as of now. Ernest Hausmann, if Michigan is going to have a big-time, set of playmakers against Alabama offense, I think Hausmann, along with Mike Sainristil, could be one of two guys that they specifically have spying Alabama quarterback Jalen Milroe. And I don't think Mike Barrett's the guy for the job. Junior Colson has responsibilities elsewhere. He's much more effective in stuffing the run. Hausmann can be a guy with his speed to kind of get outside the pocket, keep an eye on Milroe. Maybe that's not every single play, and he's not a starter, right? But he can get in there with some starter snaps. Keep an eye out for Ernest Hausmann. If he has a breakout game, Michigan should be able to win this game. And last one might be a surprise to some of you guys. Donovan Edwards, the guy many people had a top 10 Heisman candidate coming into the season after 75 yards, 85 yards against Ohio State. Is nobody talking about the Don in this game? Has he become an unsung potential hero for Michigan? I mean, there's not much you can say other than, yes, he has had a season that has been disappointing to a lot of people. I think he would even tell you himself. And I don't think the Michigan coaching staff has put him in the position to make the plays that, will get the most out of him. Performance both running the ball, catching the ball, and hell, why isn't he back there returning punts or returning kicks anytime like that? I'll tell you more about the Don in a second. But I did want to tell you more about Rhone. We are sponsored by Rhone. And guys, I'm sure many of you are just like me. You've got social life. You've got parenting responsibilities. You like to go hit the golf course, sometimes even on company time. And that's why Rhone is amazing. I'm wearing the Commuter Collection from Rhone. Athletic dress pants, shirts, and apparel. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Rhone has stepped up to the challenge. While wearing this Commuter Collection, I can go from the office to my son's practice to dinner with friends. I'm actually going to do all those three things today. and because Sherrone is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man. You never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Sherrone commuter collection. It's got wrinkle release technology, which just allows the wrinkles to just disappear when you wear it. When I put this shirt on, right? When I put it on this morning, it was kind of wrinkly, right? I didn't spray it. I didn't iron or anything like that. And the body heat that I have on there just took the wrinkles away. And then look at this. Super comfortable, super stretchable. I can unroll the sleeves, put on a sports coat, head to a business event, head to a work event, or toss in some shorts with it or some pants, hit the golf course, even on potentially company time. It is the time for you guys to get comfortable clothing, dress clothing that can be versatile, take anywhere with Sherrone for this holiday season. So if you're looking for a gift for the guy in your life, or hell, even yourself, get the comfort, the flexibility of Sherrone's commuter collection. Go to Sherrone.com. That's RHONE.com/chatsports. RHONE.com/chatsports. Use promo code chatsports for 20% off your entire order. Sherrone.com/chatsports. It's time to find your corner office comfort. Where is the Don? Where has he been? Against Iowa, 4 carries for 28 yards. Now, he did have 4 catches, but those seemed like forced catches, right? Little dump-offs out of the backfield that went for 5 yards, 3 yards, 2 yards. Got 19 yards total on 4 catches. That's really not anything downfield. Against Ohio State, they gave him the ball, but 10 carries for 31 yards, 2 catches, but he completed the pass. Okay, cool. Maryland, 11 for 39. Penn State, 10 for 51. Got his TD. He was really the only TD of the year. I think he had 3 total. That wasn't just kind of handing the ball off the ball at the half-yard line and have him fall into the end zone. Nobody's talking about Donovan Edwards. I don't think Alabama is game planning for him right now, and Michigan needs to make sure that they get him in the game to confuse Alabama's defense. Even if they don't give him the ball, right? Put him in the backfield with Blake Corum. Put him out there at wide receiver. Put him out wide receiver. Send him in motion, right? Make them think, we've got to cover this guy. We've got to cover this guy. There he goes. There he goes. Hell, have him get the ball in the wide pitch, fake a pass, and take off. Maybe that's the play for him. Have the Donovan Edwards take a snap out of a shotgun position with JJ McCarthy going out as wide receiver, right? What's going to happen right there? It's tough to say. But he has been underutilized, right, this entire season. His performance has been great. He hasn't broken any tackles, and his downfield pass catching, it just has not emerged. We saw it as a freshman against Maryland. We saw it a ton last year. Has not been a part of Michigan's game plan so far in 2023. Let me know what you guys think, though. Predict a unsung breakout player against Alabama. So let's just say someone who is not a consistent starter for this team, offense, defense. I guess special team Semaj Morgan kind of is, but he's only started 1 game, and that was as punt returner against Iowa. Keep it rolling here. We got Chris Farad. He says, who's the more likely player to stay than we are expecting to go to the draft? So basically we say is like, hey, look, we came into the season thinking Michigan was going to lose like 16, 17, maybe even 18 starters off the offense and defense starting 22. And I don't think it's looking like it's going to be that many, right? A couple guys have had less than stellar seasons. A couple guys have maybe not seen their draft stock go to where they wanted to be. 2 players that I think ultimately will stay, that most people have projected would go for sure. Rod Moore, safety, missed the first 3.5, 4 games of the year, plagued by injuries, got that pick at Ohio State to seal the game. How about Jurick Colson, right? Started as a true freshman in 2021, started last year, was projected by a lot of people as a first or second round draft pick coming into this year. He's come on lately, but it hasn't yet kind of exploded into an All-American, really wasn't named as an All-American, even the All-Conference first or second team player by anybody. I expect both of those players to come back. I actually think Michigan will have more players than most fans at this point expect. Just going down, I made some of these predictions a few weeks ago. Michael Barrett from the linebacker position, of course, has to leave. Hausman can't leave. Chris Jenkins is going to leave, but Makari Page, right? You can see him coming back. It might be a nice 3-safety rotation with Keon Saab, Rod Moore, and Makari Page, right? So we'll see what happens there. Going to the other thing, Jalen Harrell, like defensive end. He still has 2 years of eligibility. Even though he's a 4th-year player, he's got a COVID year, he's got a redshirt year. He could come back. Braden McGregor, right, starting defensive end this year, he could come back as well for another year next year. Michigan can continue to be 4 deep at the defensive end position. Other players who could come back on the offensive side of the ball. How about Roman Wilson? How about Donovan Edwards? Both those players have a year of eligibility in 2024. If JJ McCarthy comes back, those guys might just say, hey, there's no harm. I know who my quarterback is, in sticking around with Michigan for 1 more season to try and go from what will probably be like Roman Wilson, a 3rd or 4th round draft pick, Donovan Edwards at this point, 5th or 6th, get some more playing time, get him featured more in the offense, and see what happens in 2024. HOF_9 says, y'all got to throw it deep and stop throwing bubbles. Ain't going to work. Play man, not zone. we have fast guys. So I'm guessing this guy is probably an Alabama fan, right? From that question, although he has Michigan in the maybe he's talking to Michigan, right? Maybe he's telling me to tell this to Michigan. So when I read it, I'm like, this must be an Alabama fan. But I don't necessarily agree that Michigan needs to throw deep, right? This Alabama secondary, it's insane good. They've got 3 All-American players. They've got 3 players who are going to be first-round draft picks, 2 probably this year, another one 2 years from now. We're talking about the 2026 NFL draft in Caleb Downs. And to throw deep, you've got to have pass protection with Zach Sinter out, the shuffling of the offensive line. Alabama has Dallas Turner rushing off the edge that I'm not sure that they can completely contain. Michigan football, folks, we're a running team, all right? That's how you beat Ohio State in 2021, 2022, and 2023. That's how you got the win against Penn State when you didn't throw the ball the last 37 minutes of the game. If Michigan's going to beat Alabama, it's got to be humming on the ground. Now, if all of a sudden Michigan's offense completely changes, they're going 5 wide, throwing it off the field 50 times, maybe I could be wrong. But we know that is not the case for Jim Harbaugh. That's really never happened other than last year against TCU when they were down 18 points in the second half. Then they started opening up, throwing the ball on the field. If Michigan can't run the ball, nothing they're going to do in the passing game is going to change the chance of winning because of the talent of the Alabama secondary, the lack of talent and depth of Michigan wide receivers. If you get the running game going, those linebackers and safeties have to creep up to help on it. Boom. You got Colson Loveland. You've got A.J. Barner over the top, 10 yards and out, 10 yards and in. And then maybe guys like Roman Wilson just kind of 6 yards, 5 yards across the middle. Catch him. Boom. You're going off the sideline. All starts with the running game. Thanks so much to HOF9, although I think your intention and what Michigan should do is a little bit off the mark. Next question coming in, Nick Udhoff. Okay, that's a cool name. Michigan having an elite defense all season. Will they be able to stop a legitimate offense in Alabama? I'm not sure how legitimate Alabama's offense is. They're certainly talented. They've got players, but they don't have a running back that's going to be drafted in the first 2 or 3 rounds. They don't have really a wide receiver that I think is going to be drafted in the first 2 or 3 rounds. They've got a couple of All-American, All-Conference level offensive linemen. And then Jalen Milroe, who, remember, he lost head-to-head to Quinn Ewers by 10 points at home. He was benched the next week. It just turns out his backup, who's now going to play lacrosse back at Notre Dame, wasn't that good either. He's come around the last 4, 5, 6 games and frankly made a late push to the Heisman. I think he finished 5th or 6th in the Heisman. It's all because of, I think, one read passing. So one read passing, it's either I'm dropping back and launching the ball on the field, or it is I'm dropping back, my guy's not open, I'm taking off running, right? He is not an elaborate passing game. Michigan has faced elaborate passing games with Ohio State and other schools that have done very, very well against them. They just need to have a different game plan here. Dual threat quarterback is a new challenge. You can't just rush 4 or 5, drop 6 or 7 back into coverage in the zone, and let him dink and dunk, lock down inside the top 25. Jalen Milroe, with his legs, go back and look at those 12 touchdowns. Like 7 of them are outside of 10 yards, which means he takes off running when the defense is least expecting it. He's only got like 3 or 4 of his 12 touchdowns are 1.5, 2 yards and in. The kind of JJ McCarthy, or Blake Corum right at the goal line, push into the end zone. Next question coming in from BK Wolverine. He's GR81 is his username. What can Michigan do differently so that we do not witness a mobile QB beat them like historical games, SGS? I don't know what SGS means. Oregon, Syracuse, and Ohio State. So he's going back, right? We're going back. He's talking about Oregon in 2007, right? Dennis Dixon, right? Hiding the ball behind his back and just walking into the end zone 30 yards against Michigan. He's talking about Donovan McNabb, but back in 1998, Syracuse, Michigan went to the Carrier Dome, defending national championship, got absolutely ran off the field by Donovan McNabb, and a handful of quarterback against Ohio State, Braxton Miller, Troy Smith, have passed and have run. It's all with the defense of Michigan, right? Let's say it. Say it with me, Sam. Say it with me. Defense. Michigan's got to win this game with defense. They do not have the offensive firepower down the field to beat Alabama in a shootout, right? It's not going to be like TCU 51-45 game. At least I don't think it will be. They've stopped C.J. Stroud and an all-wide receiver crew the last 2 years. They stopped Kyle McCord, a five-star, with 5 stars everywhere. Wide receiver, running back, hell, one of the best tight ends in all of college football. Milroe presents a different challenge, right? It's his legs that presents the challenge. Now, if C.J. Stroud could have ran at all, which he's done a little bit in the NFL, I think Michigan could have lost one of those last 2 games in 2021 or 2022. So it's a different challenge for him, but Michigan has stopped much better offenses over the past 3 years than they were going to face at this Alabama one. It's all about, do they have the preparation and do they have the right game plan, which maybe Jesse Minter hasn't faced, to stop a truly mobile quarterback who is one read short, one read deep, or take off running. That is their offense. I think Michigan has the horses. Whether or not they have the game plan, we're going to find out in just a little over 2 weeks. Next question coming in from Michigan Wolverine at Wolverine05. Do you have an update on the Jim Harbaugh contract? From NIL to the coaches, Ward Manuel seems to be a weak link. Is he the holdup here? I'll answer this question in a second. I'll ask you guys this question, though. I'll answer his, but I'm going to ask you guys one. Will Jim Harbaugh be Michigan's head coach next season, 2024? Give me a yes or no down in the comments. Let me know what you're thinking. 2 weeks or so, 2 weeks and a couple days out from this Michigan-Alabama game, will Jim Harbaugh be the coach of Michigan next year, yes or no? If he's not, I think he's going to end up with the Chicago Bears. As I told you last week, a source told me that in conversations they had at the Big Ten championship game after party, right, that Jim Harbaugh considers the Chicago Bears his NFL Michigan, right? The team he's kind of coming home, that he has the most affinity to, given the 5, 6, 7 years that he played there, drafted by them in the first round in the 1987 draft. Christmas is the day, right? Jim Harbaugh hasn't gone out and said this. He hasn't said to Michigan, Christmas or else. But Michigan's going to leave for the Rose Bowl the day after Christmas. As long as things don't change as of now, that's the tentative plan. If Harbaugh sits down with his family at Christmas, he doesn't have him a new contract to tell him. He's not saying, hey, put your roots down. We're staying here for another 5, 6, 7, 8 years. He's going to think Michigan isn't serious. He's going to think that things have changed since they agreed to terms back in October. And if that's the case, he's shutting it down after Christmas. He will not have conversations between Christmas Day and New Year's, or Christmas Day and January 8th in Houston National Championship game, whenever Michigan's season ends, National Championship, of course. And then once the season's ending, whether it's January 2nd or January 9th, the next day, he's going to empower his agent to make communications with the Bears should they be looking for a coach, which as of now, they have yet to make that choice. Looking a little good. They won a game. They beat the Lions this past week? Yeah, beat the Lions. So maybe they won't make a coaching change. Harbaugh's not looking to leave. It's not getting twisted. I'm not saying Jim Harbaugh is going to the NFL. I am saying that whatever the terms are out there, Michigan has yet to put a contract in front of him in the last 10 days, since all terms are ready there, that he can sign and put this 3-year dance with the NFL behind him. So the ball is in Michigan's court. Put the contract in there. But if it's the language we've talked about in shows in the past, where it's like he wants to still talk to NFL teams, I can understand it. Just know, Christmas Day, no contract signed. I think it's more than a 50% chance that Jim Harbaugh will not be with this school in 2024. We'll be back with more shows next week, including we'll be live for National Signing Day on Wednesday. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the Michigan Football Report. Get us to 30,000 subscribers. Go Blue.